the blazing midday sun of the dry savannah, a small lion cub wandered slowly over the parched earth. He was visibly thin. His dusty, matted fur clung in patches, ribs sharply visible beneath the skin, and his tail hung limply. His movements showed weakness. Steps were slow, legs occasionally buckled. Breath was shallow and uneven. The little hunter was lost from his pride, maybe separated during a hunt or frightened away by danger. Now he was alone. The savannah around him was unforgiving. A scorching sky, cracked, dry paths, and sparse, thorny bushes. The cub lowered his head wearily, listening intently. Every bird's rustle or distant roar of adult lions made him alert. He searched desperately for food and water, sniffing dry moss near tree roots, peering into crevices, resting briefly in the shade of a lone acacia to feel a fleeting coolness. But despite his exhaustion, there was a faint glimmer of hope in his eyes, the stubborn flicker of survival. Every step was harder than the last, but he moved forward because he had no other choice. As the weak, thin, and dusty lion cub cautiously grazed on a patch of dry grass, long shadows stretched across the savannah. From the nearby withered bushes, a pack of spotted hyenas emerged silently. Their hungry eyes gleamed, mouths curled into menacing snarls, sharp teeth bared. The hyenas slowly circled the vulnerable cub, closing in with deliberate steps. The cub froze, his small, fragile body tense, emitting a low, weak growl. Too thin and exhausted, he knew he couldn't stand a chance against them. Dust kicked up beneath the restless paws of the hyenas, and guttural laughs filled the air. Suddenly, a distant rumble broke the tense silence, the unmistakable sound of a vehicle approaching across the dry plains. The hyenas paused, alert and wary. As the rumbling grew louder, the pack scattered quickly into the bushes, startled by the noise. A white rescue vehicle rolled closer, dust billowing behind its tires. The thin, dusty lion cub stayed frozen, trembling but safe for the moment, as rescuers prepared to reach him. The white rescue vehicle rolled to a careful halt just a few meters away from the trembling lion cub. As the rescuers quickly spilled out onto the dry, cracked earth, their faces carried the weight of urgency and deep compassion. The cub appeared heartbreakingly fragile. His dusty matted fur hung unevenly over his frail frame, ribs protruding sharply beneath stretched, dry skin. His legs wavered beneath him with every faltering step, breaths shallow and ragged, the exhaustion unmistakable in his dull, glassy eyes. One rescuer knelt slowly in the baking grass, speaking in a gentle, soothing voice, as he extended a bowl filled with warm, nutrient-rich milk fortified with essential vitamins. The lion cub hesitated, nostrils flaring as he sniffed cautiously, distrust mingling with desperate hunger. Then, driven by pure survival instinct, he began to lap the milk eagerly, his movements weak but growing steadier. Another rescuer reached out with careful hands, tenderly stroking the dusty fur along the cub's neck and back, trying to calm the frightened animal. Nearby, a third team member fetched a bowl of clean, fresh water, offering it with quiet patience to help relieve the cub's deep, persistent thirst. Though the cub remained fragile and exhausted, a subtle light returned to his eyes, a fragile but undeniable glimmer of hope. Around them, the endless arid savannah stretched beneath the relentless sun, dry grasses shimmering faintly in the heat haze. Yet within this small circle of human care and kindness, the cub found a rare sanctuary. A moment's reprieve from the brutal struggle for survival, a chance to heal, to regain strength, and perhaps one day, to return to the wild. After the first feeding, the rescuers carefully helped the weak lion cub move to a small area under a sprawling acacia tree, where warm but soft light filtered through the leaves, creating a calm shelter from the scorching savannah sun. In this shade, the lion cub could finally get some rest, allowing his body to begin recovering from the grueling fight for life. One of the rescuers carefully examined the lion cub's skin, finding small scratches, dry crusts, and inflamed areas on the dusty fur. He gently but carefully removed dirt and dried blood with wet wipes without causing pain, then applied a mild antiseptic to prevent infection and inflammation, keeping the lion cub calm with a calm voice. To protect the delicate, desiccated skin from gnats and other insects that circled around in the dry air, the rescuers carefully applied breathable bandages to the lion cub's paws and torso, not constricting his movements, but providing extra protection and support. There was a quiet atmosphere of caring all around. The rescuer's words sounded soft, the lion cub's breathing gradually evened out, and his eyes, though tired, began to shine a little brighter. Throughout the day, the lion cub dozed, occasionally turning his head slowly and cautiously observing his surroundings. He was still weak, but strength was slowly returning to his body. Every breath and swish of his tail spoke of a small victory over death. Several hours had passed since the rescue. The windy, dry savannah gradually replaced the hot afternoon with the soft gold of the evening sun. Under the protection of a wide acacia tree, the lion cub lay on a thick blanket that the rescuers had spread out so that he would not touch the stiff, thorny grass. His fur was still dusty, but there was already a little more life in his eyes. One of the rescuers took warm formula out of the crate and poured it into a soft bottle with a nipple. He carefully brought it to the lion cub's mouth, and the cub first hesitantly sniffed and then greedily began to drink, closing his eyes in pleasure. His weak body shuddered faintly with each sip, but he was gaining more and more strength with each second. A white droplet of milk remained on his lips and chin, which the rescuer immediately wiped off with a soft cloth. At the same time, the other team members were preparing a small shelter for him, a portable enclosure with clean bedding, warm blankets, and a bowl of water. They knew that there was still a long road to recovery ahead. Vitamins, increased nutrition, daily care. But the very fact that the lion cub was eating again and showing interest in the world filled their hearts with hope. Soon the lion cub, satiated, curled up and quietly fell asleep. The evening breeze swayed the dry grass, and the purple sun colored the savannah in soft shades of amber. This tiny, skinny, but incredibly resilient animal had just begun his journey to life, and there were people with him, ready to follow him to the end. It was morning. The first streak of light was slowly creeping up from the horizon, painting the savannah in delicate pink and golden hues. The lion cub was already awake. He was lying with his head up and looking at his rescuers attentively. His still lean, gaunt body seemed too small for the world around him, but there was something new in his eyes now. A quiet curiosity and the first sparks of trust. The rescuers checked his bandages, gently adjusted his blanket, and offered some warm milk again. One of them gently stroked the lion cub's neck, and the cub, to the surprise of the team, purred softly. Faintly, but sincerely. This sound was their true reward for all the hours of fear, anxiety, and fighting for his life. After morning care, they carefully moved him into a portable enclosure where it was warm, safe, and quiet. The rescuer's car rolled slowly across the savannah, while yellow grasses and distant silhouettes of trees floated by outside the window. The lion cub, curled up in a ball, was still fragile and vulnerable. But now he was not alone. There was a clinic, food, care, and a chance to grow into a strong lion ahead of him.